Hey, good morning. How you doing? Gypsy here. I wanted to share a little bit about our little bit of what we do in the morning just before we head out for our walk. I've made my coffee. I use a French press. I love it. Nice, good, strong coffee. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, cup of tea, water, whatever it is you start your day off with, and let's have a little conversation. As I shared, yes, I'm still working on my van, praying that today is the day. We've had to figure out some stuff because first ordering the part, waited for I think 4 or 5 days of straight rain, and then finding out somebody replaced the gas tank, which is great. It's a brand new gas tank, so that's beautiful. It's just the wrong size, not the one we expected. Part was right, the pump is wrong size. Hang on a second. So anyways, sitting here with my beautiful dog, Mr. Percy. His full name is Perseus. It's from Greek mythology. And if you don't know, Zeus had a son. Well, probably had a lot of them. and remember, it is mythology, so we don't, But anyways, Perseus was one of his sons. Perseus' mother was mortal and controlled by, first of all, her father, and then who was a king, and then another king, and her son did not like it. So he made a deal. And the king wanted Medusa's head. That's the lady with all the snakes, right? And he went and got it. So I love Greek mythology. So his full name is Perseus, but I call him Mr. Percy, and he knows. Anyways, so we just got done with some of our morning routine. I always take like this blanket here, covers my door at night, and during the day I put it up here, so this way when we get back up here, because I've already folded my pillows are stacked and I've got them covered because Percy comes in and out, and we have found that in this area there are tons of ticks. I lived in Texas for a while. I never had a problem. I think my one dog got one tick one time, and that's Sonja. If you look down in my videos, you'll see Sonja. She was on my bus a lot. Chico I had too, but I never found one on him. Sonja I did. This guy here, in a week, I've already found 5 ticks on him. 3 on me so far. I'm like, this is insane. I've never had that. So, whatever. And I was just told last night by a friend that ticks are really bad this year, and fleas are gonna be also. So, all right, we're ready. Anyways, and a secret I learned, a friend said take a cotton ball saturated with dish soap and just lay it on top of the tick, and it will literally draw itself out. And it really does. I had one here last night. I held it there because I felt something. I went to feel. I was like, oh no. And I looked. I was like, holy camole. So I did that, and after about 5 minutes, I literally felt it come out, and it was starting to crawl. I grabbed that little booger and smashed it really good with my fingernail, threw it away immediately. So we're resolving it. I actually ordered something for him that will be in the mail any day now. It's from Fur Life, and I'm not supported by them, but I absolutely love them because I had it with my other dog, and she never had a problem. Well, that's why I got them, because I had found that one tick, and I was told about it. Anyways, switching gears here. So, I started out on a bus, if you look at my videos, and then I had a Kia. I did not record a lot about the Kia because I was going through a healing journey at the time, which is why I eventually ended up after traveling around, went from Texas, northern Kansas, back to Texas because I went to go visit my stepdad. He's in hospice, and spent some really beautiful moments with him. And then went into New Mexico, Arizona, California, visited an auntie her health is, there. So I wanted to spend some time with her. Then drove across over into Nevada and came down that way, and then back into Arizona. And when I first got back there, I spent literally 2 months by myself. And it was the best moment. I know it sounds crazy, but I had everything I needed. I made sure I had enough water. I made sure I had gas and everything. I wasn't traveling anywhere. I found a place to park out in the desert where there was nobody around. and I just literally lived there for 2 months by myself. I had plenty of food, etc. There is a little town there. It's called Quartzsite. I think I might have drove into that place like 5 minutes. Map. Okay, get real. Probably about 10 minutes from where I was, getting out of the desert and then onto the main road. I think maybe once or twice just to fill up with water, and that was it. I wanted no communication with anybody for a little bit, and it was a healing moment for me because I had went through a lot of crazy traumatic moments with some very unusual people, but that's okay. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned that, for one, I can control my day by starting out my day with meditation, was what I do. And I'm literally just talking to myself, telling myself, reminding myself that everything's going to work out for my highest good, on and on and on. If you meditate, you know the deal. So spending that time alone was really, really good for me. I walked, I collected rocks, I collected vitamin D, on and on and on. I actually made a rock altar dedicated to my dogs that I had that had passed already. They spent many, many years with me traveling also. I actually have their ashes. I sprinkled a little bit of their ashes on there, did the whole thing. Released a lot of anger, released a lot of sorrow, released a lot of everything. So the desert for me was a healing moment at that time. Then eventually I started moving my campsite to different areas and slowly encountered other individuals, and learned a lot about other people. So, and met some really beautiful people who also are going through some healing, whether it's due to their body having moments or just mentally, right? So it really helped me a lot because, you get these crazy ass diagnoses that, I'm not going to give any labels. You know what I mean? And the mental shit really is real, right? So you have to understand when somebody says just leave me alone, that means just leave me alone for a little bit. And that's me. And that's how I was able to heal myself. I journaled, I drew, I meditated, and on and on. I didn't have the van at the time. I lived in that tiny Kia, and I was comfortable. I teach English early in the morning. I had more students at that time. Some of them have moved on because once they get to a certain age, so I do, if anybody has children that are needing some help with English, history is also my jam, so it's not just English, but I help them with speaking, reading, and mostly being confident in reading out loud, because when children read and they read out loud and nobody's making fun of them and so forth, I used to take one of my dogs to do that. It actually encourages them. They build up confidence, and I had many, many teachers compliment because that child's confidence built up so much that they were able to do better in all schools. So I still do that. I do it online. That's one of the ways I earn money. And then I have Social Security, retirement, just like millions of others, right? And then I do little side jobs like coming here to work on the farm, and I did, and I learned so much, and I loved it. I loved working with those animals and learning about them, and just being there, watching the babies, and then the bigger animals too. I just loved it. It's like I felt like I just totally belonged there. Although that wasn't why I came here. So then eventually, December 31st, like I said before, this van was gifted to me. And in many ways, it was a blessing because it took me like 2 full weeks to fully move in. Everybody thought, oh, I thought you were already going to move in. I was like, no. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had this car that I was paying on. And yes, it was causing conflict in my debt. But at the same time, the van was great because there's this queen-size bed, and then I have a lot of room. Right now, it looks like a little cluster, not so much, but I have this counter here, and right now I have, just made my coffee, blah, blah, blah. I try to keep it as clean as possible. In a small space, it's not always. Oh, and fresh eggs from the farm. Yeehaw! I believe these ones are duck eggs, if I'm not right. I could be wrong, but I believe because they're bigger, so they're fresh duck eggs. Duck eggs, yeah. And then that seat there turns around, but it's also legal to carry a passenger because I can flip it back around. Seatbelt still works, on and on. And I have extra water jugs. So if you're planning on doing something like this, you need to make sure you have water. Like even on my trailer that's not here, it's at the farm, 25 miles away. I actually have also 2 extra 6-gallon jugs that I keep water in. I have a 5-gallon gas jug and a 1-gallon diesel jug because I also have a diesel heater. So, in my trash bag. So this is where my diesel goes in, and my diesel heater is down there underneath that black box there. So those are things that you have to think about if you're planning on living on the road, and which is what I was talking about with my mechanic, because him and his wife are considering doing this because it's really hard for them. They're a young couple, they have a child, and just paying rent and on and on and on is difficult these days. And he used to own a van similar to mine, except he converted it into looking like a flatbed truck. It's kind of cool. He showed me the pictures. I said, actually, that looks kind of cool. But obviously not for a family. For him back then, it was fine. So they are looking into a large van. I said, yeah, you should maybe consider one that you can stand up in. So mine, I wish I could stand up in, but you know what? It's okay. I'm not in here 24 hours a day. So those are some of the things you need to think about, your comfort. This came with this magnificent queen-size bed, but actually I kind of wish it was like cut back a little bit, because then I'd have a little bit more room, floor space, because I have that fridge that came with it. It works, but right now I use it just to store like extra towels, paper towels, and things like that, so that I know where they are. There's a little storage down there. I have a storage drawer here. I have storage down there. Lots of storage under the bed. And then this fridge here was gifted to me. My dad bought it for me last year for my birthday, and I absolutely love it. Right now, it's running off my solar generator. Excuse me. With my batteries, keeping it going. That one there, all I got to do is push a button and turn it on. I just am not using it at this present time, so it's great storage, but I'm not going to get rid of it because it does work, and I know I will need it. Anyways, another thing too to consider is generators, because sometimes there isn't sun. Like I said last week, while we waited for the new pump for my van. And once it got here, it's just started raining. Like every day, it literally was raining all day long. Dark clouds, gray skies, etc. So my solar panel was not charging. So I have this generator here. I don't know if you can see it right there. So I have that generator there. Okay, it's right here. Yeah. And then I have this little one here. And I love this one. Once this one's fully charged, I use it almost every day, keeping my phone, my computer, etc. charged. These other ones are backups. Like this big one, if I can't get solar for my fridge, then it will keep my fridge going. And then I have one right there too. It's an EcoFlow. That one's an EcoFlow. This one is an off-brand, what is it, Flash Fish or something like that. It was just an off-brand, and it was on sale. Yeah, Flash Fish. And then this one is an Alway, which they're all good brands, and they all have their pluses and so forth. I got the big one because it was compatible with my fridge, or even that fridge there if for some reason I can't get any sun. So those are things you need to consider. Having enough water, or a water source. Like here, I'm parked in my friend's driveway. I don't know if you can see her house there. So you have to have a water source. And so while I'm here, I do go in her house and fill up my water jugs. But when I'm traveling, there are places, I just call them the little Dutch houses. It looks like a little house, and you can go up and put quarters in, and you can fill up your jugs. Most of the time, and it says it's unsalted, filtered water or whatever. It's probably not the most best, but I do also carry an extra filter. Yes, I've heard all the pros and cons of that, but I also have a Berkey in my trailer that's going to go right there. It's literally going to go right there. I just need to order more filters, because when I was taking everything out of my storage, those filters were already, I'd been using it in my bus. So I threw everything into the storage. And when I took everything out, I was reminded, oh yes, I need to get more filters. So that's next on my list, is I need to order some Berkey filters so that I can strap my Berkey right here and use that. I love them. And that's going to make up a difference, because once it's there, then I won't have to have that inside, right? And then, yeah, extra gas. I would like to have another gas can. I'm actually going to go to like one of those military surplus stores and see if any of them still have any of those old metal gas cans. I'd like that instead. And then I'm always downsizing. Like, even sitting here for however long I've been sitting here, I think now it's going on 2 weeks. I have gone through everything, reorganized everything, threw away a bunch of stuff, and I've got some stuff set aside that I'm actually going to donate and get rid of. And the same thing with my trailer. My trailer, when I first got everything out of my storage unit, and it was just the smallest storage unit, and it wasn't even packed full. It was maybe only about half. Everything's in tubs. I just threw everything in the trailer. It was double the size as it was, like literally almost as tall as my Kia. But every time I've stopped someplace, I lay out a tarp, I take everything out, I look through it all, and I've gotten rid of stuff. And of course, the memories are the ones that are hardest to get rid of, you know? But those even I've gotten rid of. Yeah, so as I've downsized and made it easier for myself, like right now, it looks kind of clustered, but that's because the eggs are here, because I'm going to come back and make breakfast. I just had coffee, etc. So just little things you just have to, like, if I was getting ready to drive, all that stuff would be put away. Well, except the fruit bowl. The stove, I figured out a way that I can keep it there and strap, because I take bungees and just tie it across. But all the loose crap gets put away, stored, etc., which is another reason why I use that fridge too. I open it up, and any loose things I toss in there real quickly so I don't lose it, right? And everything else just stays in place. I've done pretty good that when I'm driving, I'm not hearing stuff rattling and bouncing and whatever. And I have everything strapped down pretty good. That's another thing. Bungees, extra blankets, because you never know. Like here, I came here. It's springtime, but at night it's like 40-something degrees. I'm freezing. So I'm wearing layered clothing. Everybody else around here is running around in t-shirts. It's supposed to be nice today, in the 70s, but we'll see. Problem is, where I'm at, the wind is so powerful that it literally makes it hard to enjoy it, because the wind is cold. It's a northern wind, and I'm just like, I don't mind the wind. It's just too cold. So those are things to think about. Also, if you notice, I have a camp stove there, and it uses butane, okay? So, but I know some other people that use the propane ones with the green cans. Those work just as great. I actually have a small one in my trailer. So like when I was out camping, I'd just have both of them sitting side by side, and that way I could, get two different things going on and create a meal. Also, when you're camping, a lot of places will allow you to do a campfire, and if you're safe, you can also cook, make coffee and everything right at the fire, okay? So those are things to think about also. But most of all, most important thing is having the water, having lots of non-perishable food. Like I do have some things that I could pull out of a can, or packages that don't need to stay in the fridge, etc., for making odd and different kind of meals. I do have cans of fruit, because I do like to eat fruit, and it goes bad quickly. This fridge here has a freezer, so I keep frozen fruit and some frozen veggies. In my fridge, I keep all the other stuff, obviously, but that's why those are things to think about. How am I going to store my food? Where am I going to store it? And like I said, just because you get a fridge that you can plug into your solar, you can't always depend on that, right? Because there's not always sun. That's why you need a generator. So if you're thinking about it, like before I even considered where I was going to go, even before I jumped into the bus, that's when I bought this little generator here, and I used it in the house, in the room that I was renting. And yeah, I was only renting a bedroom for 6 years. And it was already teaching me to be somewhat minimalist. Yeah. And in this lifestyle, you're going to learn that you are only going to keep what you need, what's usable. Clothes, even my clothes, I've gotten rid of a lot of my clothes because there's a lot of things I just don't wear anymore, and I can't try to keep it simple. For instance, what I'm wearing today, I've wore this for 3 days now, but I'm not running around sweating and so forth. I've got a t-shirt on underneath, sweater, sweatpants. I might go to the store today, so yeah, I'll wash up and I'll put some clean clothes on so that I look a little more, and I'm just comfortable. That's all that matters. Just be comfortable. Hopefully we will be on the road. Up front there, I have the normal window cover that people, you cover your window to keep the sun out and all that stuff. But then I have an old black blanket. That blanket, I don't even use it, but it was given to me when I was in Arizona. But I use it to cover up the windows so that it's darker in here. That's also a doggy blanket. Did the same thing. Like I said, the blanket that's on the bed, I take this. We don't use this for us. I just use it to tack up over here to cover the windows at night. Most of my windows have this reflective stuff, which is great because I can just put it up. But my windows they were also like lightly factory tinted, very light. And then I did my own thing. I want to double that up. Like this one here is doubled, so it's nice and dark. But these help not only to keep out the sun, like when I was in the desert, but it's also for privacy. And it also, I'm not kidding, it also helps to keep a lot of the cold out and stuff. I have this fan here, but this fan only draws the air out only, not in. So there is another one I'm looking at to getting because of that factor, because you can do both ways, in and out. So it won't be hard to change because I can just take that one out, slide it out, clean up the, whatever it's called, the sealant stuff, reseal it, and then drop in the new one, right? So that will help a lot, especially for him. It'll give him, look at him. He's so freaking cute. It'll give him more air back here. Eventually we will get an AC. No, we do not have an AC in here. Even the van itself doesn't have an AC. The AC, they said, doesn't work. So, and that's okay. I'm not even going to fix it because if you use it, what good would it do? I would have to use a lot of gas. I would have to start the engine, turn on the AC, on and on and on. The heater does work, which is a blessing. Same thing, I really don't use it. I have the diesel heater. If I'm driving sometimes and it's cold, I'll turn on the heater just to go to my feet, so it'll warm up my feet. But besides that, I'm eventually going to get what they call that. I'm trying to remember. You see it on the back of a lot of vans. The one part goes on the back and inside. I know what it's called. Anyways, you know what I mean. I'll get it. It'll come to my mind. It's for one reason, I want to say a dual, it's anyway. It's a heater and an AC, and they're flat. So once it's inside the van, you can put it either on the ceiling, the wall, whatever, and the motor component goes outside, and then the hoses come in. So that's my option, but I'll save up for that. That's not priority right now. So those are things to consider. How are you going to store your clothes? I use a lot of plastic tubs. Like underneath my bed, I do have 3 plastic tubs, I think, with changes of clothes. And up in here, I just keep some stuff that I can grab quickly because I'm not going anywhere. So I have a couple changes right here. And then I have just a partial tool bag underneath because I have my other tools on my trailer. And tools you will need. Simple things. Pliers, screwdrivers, on and on and on. Just little things because things come up and you can't always depend on finding a hardware store close enough. So those are things that, you know, you need to have on hand. But I think the most important thing is figuring out how you're going to eat and how you're going to drink water. Water and food are most important. Even for my dog, I have his dog dish right here, but during the daytime, I just set it outside. Even here in the neighborhood, I set it right outside, so that way when he comes up, he can drink his water and on and on. And then I set his food outside, etc. We are getting ready to go for a walk, so I just wanted to just throw in a little quick video and just share a little bit about how we live our day, kind of, but and then share what's important, what you need. If you can think of something else, those of you who are living on the road, like I said, I have a few extra blankets. I have a nice winter blanket that's in my trailer, but that's okay. I've got stuff here, and I just wear layered clothing, which is always a smart thing. Layers are good because as the day warms up, I can start taking stuff off. So, yeah, anyways, and of course, even shoes. I used to have like several pairs of tennis shoes and other stuff, but I've gotten rid of all of that stuff, you know, as they've gotten bad or ruined or whatever. Working at the farm when I first got there, I didn't have any rubber boots, and I really couldn't spend any money. So I literally, once I got some money, I went and bought some rubber boots. But I had 2 old pair of tennis shoes and used them constantly. My feet were getting wet, on and on and on. I'd start out with 1 pair in the morning, go back to my van, which is right there on the farm, and I'd change my socks and shoes, let my feet air out for a little bit, and then put on clean socks and shoes, and then let the other one sit outside and let it dry. But now, and then once I got the rubber boots, I threw those away because there was no way I was ever going to wear them again after stepping in every kind of animal feces that you can think of. So I said, yeah, not even interested. Yeah, and I have this 1 cup. I got rid of all the others. That's all I need, this 1 cup, that's it. And then I have this drinking mug, which I love because if I put ice in here, it literally lasts for 2 days. If I go stop at a gas station or whatever, fill it up with ice, and then add water to it, I literally will still have ice in it the next day too. That's amazing. It's an amazing cup. I got it at Walmart. I think they cost like $16. It has a straw thing on top, but I never use it. I don't use the straw. I actually throw it away, and I just drink from the drink thing, and that's it. I love the French press. In the morning, I just get water boiling, put the coffee grounds in there, and poof, and then in about 3 to 5 minutes, I've got coffee, and it tastes good, and it's awesome. And I'm not having to plug anything in, etc., etc. So yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, so that's about it. Anyways, thank you for listening, and I'll be back to share some more stuff. Right now, I'm just focused on getting this gas pump figured out, which we're down to the narrow. Yesterday, the day started out nice, and then all of a sudden, it was pouring rain. Then it went away. Today, it's supposed to be nice. The sky looks good, etc. So, yeah, just keeping it going. And I know we'll be back on the road soon because this is not where we're supposed to be. It was a nice little pit stop. It's okay. The little town is cute, but it's not where I'm supposed to be. So, anyways, Percy and I, come here, baby. Come here, honey. Come here, baby. He's like, I just want to go back at night. So we are going to go for a walk and have a fun time, enjoy our time. We always take a ball with us and play, and then he has fun thinking he can chase the squirrels, and the squirrels tease him because as soon as he's on them, they run up a tree, etc. So anyways, I will talk at you later and share some more stuff, and if any of you other nomads have anything to share that I might have missed, please add it in there. Those are things that I have found that are the most important, in case you get somewhere where you can't move for a while. Having those extra things with you are a good thing. It's a blessing to know that, hey, I've got extra water and I've got a little extra gas and I've got non-perishable food and I've got food that can go in my fridge, so I know that if I have to sit someplace for a while, I'm okay. And it's all about staying comfortable. You know, I don't have an AC, but I have, oh, and I also do have some, like, you know, bedroom fans, right? That I can plug into either the solar or plug into a generator to get some airflow in here for Percy. If I open the front windows about halfway and turn on the fans, that fan, the fan on the ceiling, as well as the two little bedroom fans I have, one going one way, one the other way, you can get a good circulation in here, and it actually feels really good, even if it's hot outside. Like I said, the Reflectix keeps out the heat, but it also holds back the cold. It really does, because if I remove it, you can feel the cold coming off the window way more, and then if I leave it up there, it's not as bad. So anyways, have a good day, and once again, this is Gypsy. Please like, subscribe, and I will continue to share as much as I can. I know I shared a little bit about the fuel pump, because that was a whole new thing for me, and it was something I had to go through, and I've had to learn to be patient. I wanted it done right away at first, like, I need my van moving. I got stuck on the property over there for the weekend, the Easter weekend, and then I got myself towed over here, and I've been here now, I'm pretty sure, close to 2 weeks. So yeah, it's just the thing of being patient, waiting for the right time, the right moment. And hopefully today the mechanic and I will be able to get everything figured out and done, because it looks like there's not going to be any rain today. And also, we've finally figured out all the little things. Not going to be able to use the brand new one. I'll probably have to send that back, because it's not the right size for this tank. But we are figuring out the pros and cons, what we can do with the new one. And it turned out that the top just wasn't sealed properly. So it has to be in a certain way to get the right kind of pressure. It's all built on pressure. Boy, did I learn some stuff. And I'm not a mechanic. I just learned a lot about it. I learned about the fuel pump, the fuel filter, fuel regulator, and the fuel pressure regulator. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Anyways, Gypsy's out of here. Take care. And like I said, any nomads out there, if you got anything you want to share, please add it. Ask questions. I'm still learning. I've been on the road. I've been doing this now for about 2 years, and I love it. I really do. Yes, there are mishaps. Yes, there are chaotic moments. But that happens if you live in a house too. You know, that's just part of life, I think. It's not, you know, you have these experiences to learn to deal with it, and then you also have these experiences to remind you that patience is really golden, and just breathe. Everything will work out for your highest good, and it always does, because we are worthy of it, because we deserve it. And this is what I have to remind myself of too daily, you know, like, it's okay. It's just another moment. Everything will work out. We will be okay. We will get from point A to point B. So have a good day. Big heart hug. I do heart hugs. If you ever meet me in person, I do heart hugs. And what I mean by that is I always hug to the left, because our heart is more to the left. So our hearts will touch and the vibration will be beautiful. Have a wonderful day. Gypsy's out of here. Ciao.